Well, hello, my friends. Welcome to me, your host, Christian Watson. My friends, the veil is ripped, and Black Lives Matter, the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation, is preparing to go down. All omens point to that direction. As many people know, Candace Owens is currently working on an expose documentary, which is slated to come out sometime soon, on the dealings of BLM, which we'll be talking about in a second right here, which have rocked the organization as they have been judiciously reported by Washington Examiner reporter Andrew Kerr and other reporters, obviously, who have been working on that beat. Black Lives Matter came under attack. The organization came under attack for its financial transactions that have been revealed over the past few months, some of them being the following. $970,000 from the Black Lives Matter Global Foundation went to the father of their former executive director, Patrisse Cullors. $2.1 million went to a consulting firm ran by Patrisse Cullors' friend. Cullors also employed her sister and her brother at the foundation as well. She bought a $6 million mansion in Los Angeles to film her personal YouTube videos. Cullors also purchased 4 homes for $3.2 million across the nation, one of which is decked out with a fully fledged airplane hangar. And this mansion also in California, in Los Angeles, was used to host parties. And they also spent $8 million on a mansion in Canada that belongs to, or at least belonged to, a long time ago, the Communist Party of Canada. Now, most people would look at these series of transactions and say unequivocally that they have absolutely nothing to do with helping black people get better, helping the culture, or anything as it relates to progressing black folks. And that would be a very astute observation. But an even more astute observation is going to look beyond these transactions, look beyond the non-transparency of Patrisse Cullors, who said that non-profit disclosure laws trigger her and make her feel unsafe, which is very interesting. I guess transparency makes her feel unsafe. It's going to be important for us to look beyond these transactions and see the broader principle. My friends, Black Lives Matter is not failing simply because they mismanaged the funds that people who were incensed about the death of certain people in America and who believe that black folks are under attack from the system have given her. No. Black Lives Matter is failing because its premise was always false. And it was thus constituted on incorrect foundations. What do I mean? So, my friends, I want you to visualize something. I want you to visualize 2 different scenarios, 2 different scenes. In one scene, we're going to say it's scene 1 for the purposes of my analogy. In this scene, this is reality, right? This is a picture of reality, but instead of it being a picture of actual reality, it's a picture of what people perceive reality to be. So imagine that this is a scene that can be interpreted in 1,000 different ways, depending on your viewpoint. Then in the second scene, this is reality as it is, independent of your viewpoint. So if we're going to make logical conclusions and analyze claims to get to the truth, we have to operate in a reality in which the truth is resolute, in which the truth governs it. The problem is, Black Lives Matter was built upon the false reality in which perception matters more than what is actually there. What I mean by this is this. If you consider the phrase Black Lives Matter, which many conservatives said, the phrase is what we support, not the organization, which in my opinion they ceded great ground when they did that, bad ground when they did that. If you consider the phrase, you will see a conceptual flaw. Black Lives Matter emphasizes value on the basis of skin color. So, in general, all human beings are morally valuable. In my opinion, we have intrinsic value as human beings, we have the capability and capacity to reason, capability and the capacity to use our free will to do things in this world, and this confers a certain level of value upon the human being. Black Lives Matter has switched the value statement from saying something about humanity is valuable to a particular characteristic about a particular set of human beings that must be valuable. That is not a value statement that operates in scene 2, the actual reality. It is rather a value statement that operates within scene 1, where perception matters more than the actual truth. Because if the truth of all the truth of human value is universal, which I genuinely believe it is for the reasons I just explained, then you cannot simply narrow it to black lives. Now, someone may retort, but Christian, black people are being attacked by the police and murdered and butchered by the cops, and therefore, Black Lives Matter is meant to address that particular issue. Well, first of all, what Black Lives Matter rose in the backdrop of several disparate and distinct incidences of different people having bad encounters with the police for a variety of different reasons. So Trayvon Martin was a rallying call for Black Lives Matter, even though Trayvon Martin infamously was grounding and pounding, beating George Zimmerman's face into the pavement. Yes, Zimmerman is not a hero in that instance, but Trayvon did things that led up to what happened. Michael Brown engaged with the police officer before he was shot dead, and so on and so forth. There are numerous instances. And then they have some instances like Breonna Taylor, who was also a rallying cry for Black Lives Matter, where she was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. She got shot by a cop who was responding to fire from her boyfriend, who was executing a no-knock warrant, which, by the way, it was unjust. No-knock warrants are unjust and they're bad, not because they're racist, but because they're unconstitutional and they violate property rights. So, my friends, Black Lives Matter was built on the principle of proximity. And I've talked about this a lot in my videos. I encourage you to go back in my past videos and see it, but I'll explain very briefly. Proximity, or proximity ethics, a term that I have coined, is the act of saying something is good or bad on the basis of what it is near. So again, I always use the analogy of the gasoline molding man. You see this man with a gasoline tank near a fire, and the proximity emphasis says, hey, you started that fire because you had the gasoline tank, when that man could have simply been filling up his car. But since the gasoline tank contains gasoline, and gasoline can start fire, the association is immediately made, and this is obviously incorrect because it omits every other factor. Black Lives Matter was built upon a foundation of epistemic rot, which simply means they didn't actually pursue knowledge. They pursued a narrative and then crafted all their activities around that narrative, thus creating scene 1, a false reality, and then using that to draw money and draw resources from productive persons, just like a parasite. And just like a parasite that is starved of blood, or is revealed as a parasite, it is now being forcefully investigated by the attorney generals of Indiana and Ohio for mismanaging their finances. It has been excoriated by supporters all around the globe, including in Canada, when after they bought the communist mansion, the supporters got angry. Their own board members, after Cullors resigned, refused to take the positions that they were given because of the institutional rot within the organization. But this is not about mismanagement. This is about fundamentally being based in reality. This is about having the correct value systems, and this is about having those value systems correspond to what is, not what you want it to be. That's why Black Lives Matter is failing, because it is situated in a reality that is not the true reality, and therefore coheres to rules that are not actual rules of reality, but are instead rules and dictates of perception. And when you try to merge the subjective with the objective, what happens? It's like mixing oil and water. They are so distinct, so separate, and it doesn't go together well. So my friends, let this be a warning to all of us. Do not assume that your perceptions are what are true. Always look beyond your perceptions. Look beyond yourself. Look in the world. Look at the world. Observe it and try to extract truth from that. Or else you can get wrapped up in lies such as Black Lives Matter, which people will instinctually say, that sounds good, without actually considering, what does it mean to matter? What does it mean more deeply to have value? What does it mean to be a valuable person? Is that based off of my skin color or off of my inherent humanity? And without asking these very core key questions, my friends, we can't really even understand other people, much less talk about if they matter or not. This was the folly of Black Lives Matter, but it can be avoided if you recognize that the truth goes beyond your own perceptions, and it must be sought out in every instance, even in those that make us feel good. Think on it. My friends, love you guys so much. If you love me, patreon.com/CWatson or PayPal, officialcwatch@gmail.com. You can donate to me on those two places. Please go to my Discord, which is in the comment section down below, or my locals, christianwatson.locals.com. Please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel. Please share this video. Please comment on this video. I love you guys so much, and please stay pensive. Bye, guys.